quarterback is Shedeur Sanders. We've got a couple questions about him. Nicholas Braxton says to you, I know on your show you mentioned Geno Smith as a comp for Shedeur, but the players I think of is Chiefs' Alex Smith, Teddy Bridgewater, but with a better arm, and Tua Tagovailoa. Do you see some of this on his film?
Geno for sure. I can see Geno. And I will say, I don't know if his arm was even as gifted as Geno's. Geno's arm, as you've heard me say a lot here, is way better than I think people ever really gave it credit for or realized, right? But that's the one I see. I can see the Alex Smith thing a little bit too, and the way in which they throw the football, right? Alex Smith was one of those guys that was a little bit over the top. It wasn't the around motion type that way. Mm-hmm. I think he plays a little bigger in the pocket than Alex Smith, but he can't run like Alex Smith. Don't forget, Alex Smith can really run. And I think he's clearly a better thrower than Teddy Bridgewater, and just a bigger human, plays bigger that way altogether. So, that's more where I see that. Shedeur, again, where he's different to me than Tua, and even that comparison, and this is where I like Geno, plays big, can throw big throws down the field with the pocket collapsing and doesn't need a lot of effort, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the things you would hear me complain about with Tua a little bit in times. That, to me, is where I like Shedeur. And as you know, that's life in the NFL. Things collapse. You got to make a lot of throws where it's like, oh, it's uncomfortable and I can't get my whole body into this. But the coach is still going to look at me and go, they weren't hitting you yet. The guy's open. Why didn't you throw it? And you want to be like, well, Reggie White was like right by my arm, and I had this guy. Like, it was, I don't care. He's open, and they weren't hitting you yet. So freaking throw it, right? And that's really where it's gotten, and you got to come through in those type of situations.
Here's a question about value. I like this one, draft value. Kevin MC 411. Can you explain to us, why Shedeur is considered a bad pick at 3, but an okay pick at 20 for a team like the Giants in desperate need of a quarterback and picking at 3? I don't understand that. George Young took your dad higher than some thought, because that's where he was picking.
Yeah, listen, they're valid points. And I've made this clear before, too. Like, listen, if you believe he's your guy and that's your guy, I'm never going to be mad at you for taking a guy you believe in that you think is going to build your football team, right? But there's also, and this plays into our contracts with the quarterbacks and all that at times, but there's also value as far as where the draft is and what you can get, and if you play it the right way, you can maximize things to make your team better. And I think there's that game there that you got to play that a little bit. You hope to. So, my point is that I wouldn't want to take him at 3, right? The top 5 quarterbacks to me are like, they can carry a team, game-changing type guys, no doubt about it. Shedeur Sanders is really good. I don't know if I think he's that, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And that's where I say that. And, I guess, too, on top of that, there's not a ton of teams that are quarterback needy here in the first round, to where this is a year where, if you want to maximize value and things like that and build your team, I feel like there are angles. If you read the board and you start to play the game a little bit, like, hey, this team takes this team, this team takes this team. Oh, this team maybe needs a quarterback, but, okay, they pass over the quarterback. You could start to certainly look at it, and you wouldn't be crazy to go, whoa, I could certainly see Shedeur still being on the board at 15. It's not that far-fetched. You get past like 1 or 2 teams, and you go, oh, damn, he might be down there, right? So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, in my general thought, I wouldn't want to take him at 3 or 6, just like I didn't want everybody to take Daniel Jones at number 6. And guess who was right? Yeah, we could have traded down and taken him later, or not taking him at all, whatever. Right? I just don't want us to reach that way. But if they have a grade on him that's that worthy and they think he's the guy going forward, I won't be mad. I won't be mad at that.
Well, all these players have a risk profile.
But
right?
I'm sick of one more thing, because I'm sick of everybody saying this stuff about, like, well, if you like your guy or the value, or the market for the quarterbacks is this. Yeah, and it's up. Like, I want to go to the market thing and the quarterbacks thing, because I've had a few people go, well, the market right now is just that. And I'm going to go, well, then that's why your team won't be in the Super Bowl. That's why you won't. Because you're putting your guy in a market with Mahomes, and yet he's not Mahomes. And then when you play the Chiefs, you're going to tell me, they got Mahomes. And I'm going to go, well, you're paying your quarterback just like him. So why aren't you getting those results? I don't understand. Oh, well, that's the market for the quarterback. I'm so sick of hearing people tell me that shit. I'm so sick of it. Oh, well, we couldn't have the team. Well, yeah, because you paid your quarterback out of the market. That's why. Like, so, yeah, you couldn't fill in the other pieces because you had to worry about the public pressure and the agent who boxed you into a corner that says it doesn't look cool if you don't pay the quarterback a lot of money. That's what we've gotten. The same thing with the draft, too, a little bit. There is that. And I guess that was my spiel.
Did this become a Brock Purdy discussion?
No, it's a lot. It's not about the Brock Purdy one. It's just people I've heard on TV, radio, whatever. That's been a little bit of the anti-argument to what I've been saying, right? And I just, like, I hear it and I want to go, yeah, but that doesn't make any sense. And it's a league where we always talk about value, and all of a sudden there's quarterback, we're going to go, F the value.
Pay whatever.
Here's the market, pay whatever. And that doesn't make sense with anything else that you line up in the league.
I'll say this with the draft and the risk profiles on all these guys. As you go on in the draft, there's a higher likelihood, there's more of a risk that this guy won't pan out, right?
Yeah.
He's not quite as good as we think he is, or he's not NFL quality. And so you don't want to take those guys at 3, right? I mean, and so that's, I think, at the end of the day, it's
Say that again. You don't want to what?
You don't want to take guys that have a high risk profile higher in the draft.
Exactly
just,
right.
Like, there's a higher chance this guy actually won't be very good.
Yep.
And so we'd rather not take that right now. We'd rather take someone who we have more confidence in being good. And Shedeur Sanders at this point is being evaluated as a guy who, while good, is not slam dunk. He's going to change your franchise.
Not superstar.
There may be some limitations here.
Exactly.
Where if you take him number 3 overall, you've wasted that number 3.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I think what Kevin MC411 is, it's a good discussion. Mm-hmm. And I've had these discussions with, like, hey, your Detroit Lions probably went through this a few years ago with Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, don't take a running back that high. And they were like, no, we believe in him. We think he's the man. We don't really give a shit if it's 5 spots far. We're going to do that. And I'm never going to be mad at the team to do that. I won't be mad at the Giants if they take him at 3 or 6. Right? I'm just saying if I was a GM, I wouldn't do that. And I don't think I said it was a bad pick. I hope he's not trying to put me into the quote there as a bad pick. I certainly didn't say that. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to take him at 3 or 6. Yep. And if they can maximize, like we say, trade down, get a few extra picks, do that, and hopefully still get Shedeur, then I'd be all on board for that. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.